Yesterday, the documentary Knock Down the House was made available on Netflix, and I want to give you my thoughts on it, but first, a bit from the trailer.
Crowley hasn't had a primary challenger in 14 years.
He's taken $3 million per cycle. He's gonna tell me I'm small, that I'm young, that I'm inexperienced. My mom cleaned houses growing up. I never really saw myself going into politics. Americans aren't asking for a lot. They're just asking for politicians to help them get by. I can do this.
I know you can.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess that a lot of you watching this have probably watched that already. But if you haven't, you definitely should. It's available on Netflix. Obviously did very well at Sundance. It's a very interesting look at the campaign dynamics of the various primary challengers back in the 2018 cycle. Now, the reason that I enjoyed it so much was not just that it was focused on AOC, although that's a big part of it, but also for, like many of you probably, the daily grind of politics in a time when Donald Trump is president and the Supreme Court is conservative and the Senate is dominated by Republicans can be a depressing place. We all need a little bit of hope and a little bit of inspiration from time to time. And in the same way that primary challenge of AOC and her win in November provided that, and watching her political activity since then has provided that, this documentary can do the same thing. Even though in 3 of the 4 cases that are profiled in this documentary, it does end in effectively tragedy. So you have AOC, but the 3 others are Paula Jean Swearengin of West Virginia, you have Cori Bush of Missouri, and Amy Vilela of Arizona. And in those 3 cases, they weren't successful, which is sad. And honestly, the experience of watching those sections can be heartbreaking. When you see Paula Jean Swearengin, she's campaigning, talking about the effect that obviously the environmental exploitation, energy exploitation, all of that, the effect it's had on the health of people in West Virginia is devastating. Amy Vilela talking about why she got into politics, the experience of her daughter dying because of the completely unjust healthcare industry that we have in this country, and then when she cries on election night, is devastating. From a personal point of view, it was even sadder because the video of her watching the race being called was me calling it on TYT. And I hadn't known that she had been watching it that night. And look, they all ran amazing campaigns and they went up against, honestly, as much as I follow politics and as much as I follow these campaigns, and Cenk and I on the main show, we covered every primary night. There was a lot of them, by the way. Even so, I had no idea in some of these cases how much they were up against it. Not just in terms of packed fields and trying to get fundraising, especially when rejecting corporate money and big campaign donors and all of that. But in some cases, like with Cori Bush, going up against entrenched dynasties, basically. And that is what she had to go up against. And so in all of those, look, they fought like hell, and they're not done. They're gonna be running again, and that is very exciting. I'm hoping to have those candidates on in the future. But it was hard to be reminded of how difficult it is. And a lot of what they experienced and sort of the story of the documentary that 3 lost but 1 won. There's a great quote from AOC in the documentary where she says, "It's just the reality that in order for one of us to make it through, 1,000 of us have to try." It's just, that's so powerful. And then we turn to AOC. And so the documentary does, I would say, disproportionately focus on AOC. I think that's understandable considering that she is the one of the 4 that won, but also because the documentary filmmakers, they didn't want for you to be left with like a lack of hope and a tragedy and all of that. And they wanted to showcase that as big as the challenges are, there are candidates that are able to push through if there's enough effort and enough people trying. And so AOC did do that. And watching the experience of her from very early on, from the first meeting that she has with Justice Democrats and brand new Congress, when she realizes that she wants to do it, the first times that she was knocking on doors, which you can see in her doing it that as confident a speaker as she is shy on that level of knocking on a door. And I understand that. I've had to do a little bit of that and I absolutely hate it. It's the worst thing ever. But she does it and she fights through the ridiculous, weird legal challenges and all that are thrown up against her from the fact that Joe Crowley was not just her opponent, but was also the king of that machine in the area that she's running in. The nature of power and what you experience in challenging it, this documentary, I would say, does a better job of explaining that than anything I've seen in literally years. And I had not understood how much power Joe Crowley had over that entire apparatus. And I want to show you one other clip from the video because it's the day that she has her actual debate against Joe Crowley. He had already earlier on snubbed one and sent a surrogate, but she's actually going to talk to him and she's psyching herself up for it. And it just encapsulates for me so much of what I love about AOC. Here it is.
I am knowledgeable enough to do this. I am prepared enough to do this. I am mature enough to do this. I am brave enough to do this. And this whole thing, this whole time, he's gonna tell me I can't do this. He's gonna tell me I'm small, that I'm little, that I'm young, that I'm inexperienced.
And honestly, I think that I found my mantra now going forward. When I see the news and when I read the comments, just not today. Not today, okay? I need two things to get through this. I need AOC and I need Arya Stark. Those are the things, okay? And that is how we're going to change this country with people-powered campaign, progressive politics, and Valyrian steel, baby. But anyway, look, I'm joking. It is even her section, which is a triumph, and you get to relive the night when she realized it, when she's trying to push into the bar where they're announcing that she's winning by saying, that's me on the poster. It's so powerful. And again, on a personal level, when she's talking about losing her father in college and how she hopes that she's making him proud, but he never gets to see her doing that. I experienced the same thing. My father passed away when I was in college. He had no notion that I would ever be in this career field at all, let alone what we would accomplish together. And so on a personal level, it's powerful. On a political level, it's powerful. And if you feel that you need some hope and some inspiration going into what is going to be a grueling 2020 campaign on the presidential and on the congressional level, I don't think that there's anything better right now than knock down the House. And so I would say you should definitely go see it if you haven't already seen it. You should watch it periodically if you have, because we are gonna need it. Powerful stuff, great job from the filmmakers. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.